Today is the first day of starting Jonnie Candito's 6-week strength program. I've been a little frustrated with my progress so far, so I decided to change it up. I've been on Wendler 531 for probably a year and a half, kind of vaguely following that, but I was really frustrated with the lack of progress, and after doing the first day, which I'll show you, I realized that if you want to get the results you want, you got to put in the work to get those results. And today, the work was put in. I only did the main working sets, other than the warm-up sets that were prescribed, and it was tough. So I'll add those clips onto the end here. I was doing, I did 4 sets of 6 at 275 on squat, and 2 sets of 6 at 290 on deadlifts with some warm-ups thrown in there. So I'll add those into the video and show you guys.
So starting with the bench press earlier this week, I was prescribed 6 sets of 4 reps at I believe 260 pounds. These are moving really good. And I've got my first set and my last set recorded here. I think it's important to note that if you're into powerlifting, you don't have to be the strongest guy ever or the strongest girl ever. It's really exploded over the last couple years, and it's an all-inclusive thing. You don't have to be some world record holder like Larry Wheels to enjoy it. Just enjoy the process and enjoy the each day. Enjoy getting better. So this is 225. Did 4 sets of 3, 225 with the slingshot. This is really easy for me also. It moved really smooth, and what I'm doing is trying to get a little bit of volume in. I haven't been very satisfied with my results lately, so I figure I need to change it up to get the results I'm looking for. So now we're moving on to squat. This is later on in the week. This is 275 for 4 sets of 6. And like I did on the bench, I have the first set and the last set. And when I was doing these, it was really hard. On RPE, oh man, they're probably 9, 8 if I'm being generous. But after reviewing the film and looking at the speed and the bar path, it all looked really good. I was actually really surprised at how fast it moved. So I think it's important also to note that what I'm trying to do here, at least until I got tired, was co-contraction of the hip flexors. And then what that's doing is loading up the hamstrings a little bit more. In theory, it should allow you to explode out of the hole a little bit better. So as you can see, it's moving really easy. It felt like it was 1,000 pounds though. So here's the last set of 275. I believe this one moves similar to the first set, but as I went on, it felt progressively heavier. I'm not used to doing this crazy amount of volume. It's 24 reps at somewhere between 70 and 75% if I had to guess. So I remember doing this set, and as I was going through it, it was the first 3 felt really good. I felt really strong, and I felt like the weight was moving fast. But then the last 3 were real grinders. I had to really remind myself to stay tight and to not kind of fold over in the squat. Overall, though, I'm happy with how these squats went today. I was dying there at the end if you didn't see. But anyway, we're moving on to deadlifts. These are some warm-ups. I've been really messing around with my deadlift a lot, trying to figure out what's the best for me. And shout out to Powerlifting to Win. If you haven't checked out that YouTube channel, it's amazing. He really shares some awesome stuff. So I've been pulling sumo for a long time and considered going conventional. He actually deterred me from doing that. Just set up on my body type. I have relatively short arms. So I think sumo, and he confirmed it, was a better pull for me. So that was 135. We're moving on to 225. This is all really lightweight, but I'm trying to figure out the best way for this form to work for me, where my feet need to be, where I have the shortest movement arms. And I'm trying to work on having my back as flat as possible in neutral spine position, and really forcing my knees out at the beginning of the lift, pulling all the slack out of the bar, and getting my hips as close to the bar as possible. You know, you hear Chris Duffin talk about the cue, move your knees out, pull your knees out. You hear that all the time. But it's really important to remember that that's a cue for something else. That cue is telling you get as close to the bar as possible. So your knees are just a secondary thing to trying to get your hips as close to the bar as possible to create the most momentum, biggest leverage that you can for the lift. So with this one, I'm hook gripping all of these, and with this one, I didn't have any chalk with me today. So I was having some trouble in the last couple reps with my grip, and that was causing my hips to shoot up a little bit faster than I wanted them to, and my back to round a little bit. But as you'll see in the next clip, I kind of slowed everything down. So with this, I decided to, oh, by the way, this is 290 pounds. And what I decided to do is move my feet in a little bit closer, and you'll see that my knee is directly over my heel. And that's creating the shortest movement arm possible, which is exactly what you want. So what I decided to do here is I had to do 6 reps with these sets. So I did 2 sets of 6 at 290. And what I decided to do is, instead of doing sets without stopping, I wanted to reset each time to really drive home the form. You know, form isn't necessarily all a strength thing. A lot of your form comes from motor pattern, and movement pattern. So when you teach yourself to recruit the right types of muscles at the right time, in the right order, you suddenly seem to get a lot stronger than you were before. That's why working at a lower weight, at a lower percentage, 60 to I'd say 80%, is where you get the majority of your gains. It's not lifting really heavy weight all the time. Doing that's going to lead to a lot of muscle fatigue, but also CNS fatigue. You hear that a lot. So I think it's important to keep your working weight ranges as far as percentage down to a manageable weight, and to find what works for you best, especially with the deadlift, because it's so taxing. But anyway, enough on that. We got a lot more to talk about. I'm excited to share some more info with you guys. Thanks for watching.